Hey Joe fans, I'm John Setzler. Welcome back to the Kamado Joe cooking channel. Today I've got another little goodie box here from Omaha Steaks, and what we have is 2 half racks of baby back ribs in this box, and we're going to put together a citrus and chili glazed baby back rib cook. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do, we're going to fire up the classic. I've got one Kamado Joe fire starter cube in a well down here in the middle of the charcoal, and I've got several chunks of apple wood spread around the outer edge here. So we're going to fire up that starter and let this grill burn here with the lid open for about 10 minutes. Okay, now that we've got our fire going, I'm going to put my accessory rack in the low position here, and I'm going to set each half of my heat deflector on the accessory rack. We're going to set up for indirect cooking, and we're going to go low and slow today, somewhere between 225 and 250. So let's set our vents. Okay, we're going to set our lower vent open maybe an inch or so, and on the top vent I'm going to close the slider all the way, and we're going to close the daisy wheel about halfway, and we're going to slowly let our grill come up to, like I said, between 225 and 250. And if I need to adjust it warmer, I'll open the daisy wheel more, or if I need to cool it down, I'll close the daisy wheel more. Okay, I've taken these Omaha Steaks baby back rib racks out of the packaging. I have rinsed them and I have patted them dry, and our first step in the prep on these is I'm going to hit these with a nice coat of the Kamado Joe Honey Barbecue rub. So we're just going to get that started. We're going to get a nice liberal coat on the back side of these ribs. And also, I meant to note, these ribs have already had the silver skin removed, which is kind of nice. So I'm going to let this sit here for a few minutes and let that rub bind to the back side of these, and then we'll flip them. And after that has a chance to bind to the back side there, I'm just going to put another liberal coat on the top of these ribs, and we're going to let that sit for a few minutes. Our grill is almost up to temperature, so we're about ready to head that way. Okay, we've got our grill up to right at about 225 degrees. Got a nice little applewood smoke rolling there, so we're going to set these rib racks right over the heat deflector in the middle of the grill, and we're going to let these go here for right at about 2 hours. So we'll be back at 2 hours to look at the next step. Okay guys, we've been going for right at 2 hours, and these things are looking really good here. First thing I'm going to do for our next stage is I'm going to take these off. We're going to set these aside, and what's going to happen next is they're going to go in a pan. So I'm going to put my foil pan right here in the middle of the grill, and I have a mixture of 1/4 cup of orange juice and 1/4 cup of pineapple juice. And then we're going to put the ribs back in this pan, meat side down, and we're just going to take a piece of foil and cover that pan and seal the foil around the edges of the pan. We're going to close the grill back up and let those go in there for 1 hour, just like that, and then we'll be back to have a look again. Okay, while we're in that last stage of our cook, or that second stage of our cook in the foil, we're going to make our glaze that's going to go on these ribs. We're going to start out with 3/4 cup of pineapple juice, 3/4 cup of orange juice, 1/2 cup of a sweet Asian chili sauce, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1/4 cup of canola oil, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, and about 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, or in my case I'm using chipotle pepper powder there. And we're just going to mix that together and get all that incorporated, get the sugar dissolved, and we're just going to set this aside until we come to our next stage of our cook. We've been going for about an hour here in the pan now. So let's take a look here and see what's going on in the pan. Oh yeah, look at that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take those out of the pan and set them back on the grill. I'm going to go back bone side down on the grill. And then we're going to baste these with the glaze that we made. And I'm going to hit these right now. And we're going to probably be going for nearly another hour here on the grill. So I'm going to come back and baste these again with this sauce in probably 20 minutes or so. I'm just going to put a nice heavy coat of that on there. We're going to close up the grill, go for about 20 more minutes. We've been going another 20 minutes or so, so I'm going to crack this guy open. We're going to put another dose of our glaze on here and let it go for another 20 minutes or so. I'm also going to check these for tenderness right now to see how we're doing in terms of being done. One of the ways you can tell when ribs are done is just as the probe tenderness test, just like you would with a Boston butt. These are pretty tender, but they've still got just a little bit of a way to go. So we'll be back in another 20. Okay, we're down to our last 20 minutes here. These things are looking really good. They're smelling even better. So we're gonna hit these guys one more time with this citrus chili glaze, baste, and let them go for another 20 minutes or so, and I believe they're going to be ready to come off, go inside, and get ready for a taste test. So we'll be back shortly to see what these look like when they're done. Okay guys, I believe these ribs are ready. They are definitely nice and tender. I'm going to take these off. We're going to take these in, cut into them, and have a taste. Okay, we're going to have a cut here. Cut right down in here and have a look. Look at that. Man, that looks outstanding. Let's cut another one off. Man, that's beautiful. I'm going to cut these down and let's taste them, see what they taste like. Okay guys, here's the moment of truth. We're going to take a bite off of one of these. Wow. Man, that's delicious. That's some beautiful meat. These Omaha Steaks Babybacks are perfect. They're delicious. This glaze that we've made, the citrus chili glaze with that Asian sweet chili sauce, the pineapple juice and the orange juice is just delicious on these ribs. After having done this, after the fact, that glaze that we made would probably also make a really good marinade if you wanted to marinate these ribs for a couple hours in that before you go to the grill, and then do like we did and put the rub on there and then glaze with this. That would bring another level of flavor to this. This chili citrus glaze has a little bit of a back end heat to it, a little bit of that chipotle that we put in there in the chili that's in the chili sauce. It's a slow, really nice balance with the sweetness of the citrus that we added to that. You're going to have to give this a try, and definitely try out these Babybacks from Omaha Steaks. Let me know what you think. Leave us a comment on the video. Join us on Facebook, facebook.com/Kamado Joe. Follow us on Twitter @Kamado Joe. And until next time, this is John Setzler with the Kamado Joe Cooking Channel.